What's going on, everybody? So I've been getting this question asked to me so many times from Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and of course, once I get a chance, I'm gonna definitely get back to the, to the people that ask these questions, regardless of what genre or whatever it may be, sports, gossip, hip hop, whatever. I'm gonna definitely give you my take on it whenever I can. But this right here is it's a delicate thing to me, and I'm gonna tell you why. There's a lot of things going on within the Pittsburgh Steelers organization right now. It appears to me that Mike Tomlin just doesn't have control of the troops anymore. There's a lack of respect for authority. There's a difference with letting players play the way that they are and players just going above and beyond. Now, the example I can use is Pete Carroll. If you look at the Seattle Seahawks, he definitely lets the guys act the way that they are. The problem with the Seattle Seahawks is they're never going to get over that Super Bowl. And when I say never, I don't think most of our generation will live to see them get over it, because that was one of the biggest, I don't know how to really describe it. It was very, very stupid. Whatever adjective can be used to describe not intelligent play call for them to throw that pass right there on the 1 yard line with Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. Similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers when they were playing the Patriots and they had 3rd down and 4, whatever, and they wouldn't hand the ball off to Le'Veon Bell before he was injured with the groin injury, obviously. But getting back to the topic at hand right here, Antonio Brown. Should the Steelers trade Antonio Brown? Let me answer that question by asking you another question. Should they just accept the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is threatening to retire? You got to understand something right now. A lot of people around the locker room, when you're a diva receiver, you got to be that guy that always gets open. You have to be that guy. You can't be a guy that runs your mouth and come out and don't perform. Let me give you some examples. You got guys like Deion Sanders that actually spoke a lot of trash, went out on the field, and did exactly what he said he was going to do. Now, obviously, it's easier, people may say, on defense because you can get help over the top, all that stuff like that. There's a lot of things that can happen. Deion Sanders didn't need none of that. He took away a side of the field and then sometimes played offense and destroyed you that way too. Antonio Brown, on the other hand, he's an undersized receiver. And what I mean by that, what is he, like 5'10", 5'11"? He's not a big guy. He, very, very good route running, gets the yards, very, very good pickup for fantasy football. But he's showing traits that's not going to be good going forward with the Pittsburgh Steelers. For you to Facebook Live your coach's victory speech in a game that most people considered an upset against the Kansas City Chiefs, that shows your lack of respect for authority. It is what it is, bro. Like, I'm not saying that the guy would go up to Mike Tomlin and tell him to go F off. I'm just saying that sometimes people make decisions that are very stupid and they shouldn't be making them at the point in their career. This man is not a rookie. You're doing something that you know is not going to be accepted well to most of the individuals in the locker room, as well as the coaching staff and the management. Now you put them in a situation where they have to make a decision. So most people are going to say, no, as fans, no, what are we going to do without Antonio Brown? Let's bring up the fact that Randy Moss made one press conference when he was a Patriot, a New England Patriot, talking about he got to feed his family, all that dumb stuff he was saying. What happened to Randy Moss? What happened to the Patriots? Do I need to go into it? The Patriots continue to progress, even without one of the most prolific wide receivers in the history of the NFL. You know why? Because the New England Patriots have structure. Structure is something that is needed, especially when you have guys like this. Look at the New York Giants. Odell Beckham chose to hang out with Trey Songz and Justin Bieber, and then had straight Butterfingers in the playoff game against the Packers. People have to understand this. It's a very, very simple thing. When you're on the main stage, you have to be very careful to not make it about yourself. And that's what Antonio Brown has done. And I'm not hating on him and trying to, say that he's the reason that they lost all that. That's not my point. My point is that when you're part of a team, your actions contribute to the outcome of everything that has to do with that team. Now, Ben Roethlisberger with the threats to retire, that's not something that people do unless they're really, really frustrated. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's a situation where, just think about the people that did this. LeBron James, You know, when, you know, he just like, look, you know what? I had enough of this. You guys are not doing enough. And then all of a sudden the GM starts making moves and dudes start getting traded, and all of a sudden things are looking better. People only do it when it's frustrating. Now, if you're going to sit up here and tell me that, you know, Antonio Brown is worth more than Ben, you know, you got to go have your brain checked. Obviously, they got to do whatever they got to do to try to keep Big Ben. And as old as Big Ben is, he's still a top 10 quarterback in the league, in my opinion. He's still up there. And he's high. He's high in that top 10 because he can still fling it down the field. He can still do a lot of things that other quarterbacks in the league cannot do. And it's just Antonio, that Facebook Live, that really pissed me off. And I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I have friends that are Steelers fans that were more pissed off than I was, but I'm just looking objectively at it. And I'm trying to figure out what goes through your mind to do that when you know the next week you're playing the New England Patriots. What is going through your mind? Do you not understand the preparation that's going to be needed? You know, like, just look at what happened to them. Just look at the beatdown that Tom Brady gave them. This is what I'm saying. You have to do something. The Pittsburgh Steelers has to do something. They have to either fire Mike Tomlin or trade Antonio Brown. Those are the only two things that you can do right now that'll make people understand that the heritage of the Steelers, they have the most Super Bowl rings in NFL history. But obviously right now, things have changed. It really has. Because you let people run wild. And this is what you get. What would give him that kind of audacity to think that this was okay? I can't even name another player that would be that stupid. OBJ is one of the biggest divas at wide receiver I've ever seen. The man is fighting with kicking nets. He's doing all this stuff for attention. I don't even think he would do that. Richard Sherman, mouthy guy, talks a lot of trash in your face, whatever. I don't think he would do that to Pete Carroll. I think, you know, he called Pete Carroll out. He was disrespectful in that regard because I don't think that as a player you should do that unless you have no respect for the authority. But when you look at the situation, this right here has to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on social media. And we've seen a lot of things. We've seen Aldon Smith smoke weed and be on probation and still smoking weed on whatever he was doing it on. And people have to evolve as technology evolves. And as we continue to go, technology will continue to evolve. And you have to monitor and watch over all your actions. Because if you don't, if it's not only you that it's affecting, you're selfish. If he's a UFC fighter and he has a trainer and he's doing that with his trainer like, yo, F this, I'm about to go F this guy up, that's fine. It's you and another guy in a ring that's locked up. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's only on you. If you lose, it's solely on you. But when you do this without the other player's permission or the coach's permission, and you exploit what your coach is trying to, you know, envision with you guys beating a New England Patriots team that really struggled against the #1 defense in the Houston Texans the week prior. You're reaching for a major goal. This is what this guy is choosing to do. So I really have there's no doubt in my mind that something has to be done with Antonio Brown. You know, obviously we know that Martavis Bryant is probably going to be still smoking weed next year, even after his year suspension. We don't know because these dumb dudes just can't stay off the weed and make their money. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But we saw what Le'Veon Bell can do if he stays off the weed. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line about all of this, I think the Steelers should either trade Antonio Brown and get a lot of stuff for him or fire Mike Tomlin. Because those are the two major issues that I see with the team. And for the Steelers fans that requested this video, like I told you, I'm going to always give you what I'm feeling. And I'm still at this point, even though they've been eliminated, he's apologized for it, I'm still disgusted with Antonio Brown that he even chose to do that. Because it's certain things that you can't overcome. And you're not going to beat the Patriots doing stuff like that the week prior to playing them. I'm sorry. So that's going to continue to hover over the Steelers going into next season. What's up with this, with this diva Antonio Brown? What is Antonio Brown? And it's too much Antonio Brown and not enough team. Because we saw what happened when Big Ben wasn't throwing him the ball. For the most part, he was just an average receiver. So I do think that Ben Roethlisberger is a lot more important than Antonio Brown. And therefore, he should be traded, or you should fire Mike Tomlin, because the troops are not listening to the leader. Let me know what you're thinking. Until next time, one love.